Like, I have a very weird thing. When I leave the house and come back, I like to be met at the door. I like to be greeted. And and I'll admit, so when we first got together, that thing was like, it was like, yo, I'm home. Like, open the door, yo, I'm home. And
but it's not just, I will let you land, but it's not just meeting at the door.
Okay.
Well, you used to stand at the door to wait and see if I'm going to come downstairs.
Hello, is
and
anybody
I think it was
here?
more like, oh, God, welcome. Okay, how was the day on the road? And I was confused.
Hello, is anybody home? Okay. And that was something that it mattered to me.
Anxious, nothing. A little bit anxious, nothing.
Looking amazing.
Thank you.
Welcome to Take Two with Milen and Kate. So the moment is here. Everything you guys have been waiting for. This is our podcast, episode 1. Huh?
Exciting.
It's very exciting, isn't it? So the idea that we got with this is, episode 1, we're going to say, why did I get married again? The loneliness checklist, is that it? Is that what we're going to call it?
Yeah, the loneliness reality check.
The loneliness reality check, yes.
Essentially checking in to see if this is something that you really want to do again because you truly and genuinely want to be in another relationship, love again for real, or you just want somebody to fill that void for a period of time and move on again, or because you have kids and you need a babysitter, you need help with the kids, you need support. And so you are just trying to, again, fill that void and not necessarily be
with the person
that involved.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're talking about today.
And what I'll say is this, right? Within deciding to get married again, there was a decision of, do you like relationships? Are you valuing your alone time? Because that post-divorce space is highly important to you. Because if you're not looking at what didn't work for you in the previous space and you just jump into another pool, you don't even know if you really learned how to swim. So for me, and I'm speaking strictly for me, when I had that alone time, I thought, yeah, this is what I want to see. Yeah, I want to be out there to feel and experience, but the truth is, and I learned that rather quick, I value and love relationships. I'm not the guy when trying to date, I'm not playing the I'll call her in 2 weeks or I'll give her 6 days. I'm calling right away. So when the pressure was on you, I was cooking day in and day out.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think love is good space to be in if you genuinely find the right person. And everybody has flaws. No one is perfect, but you feel a certain level of connection. I mean, for me, I think it's important to answer the question that we had before. Why did you do it again? For me, I think that love is a beautiful thing when there is that connection. So being intentional and making sure that I was genuinely connected to this person the second time around was very important. There's certain things that I looked for, and those are things that I didn't necessarily look for in my previous marriage. And I think age had a lot to do with that. Experiences had a lot to do with that. I had no experience. I just saw a person and looked at a couple of things and I thought, oh, well, this might be a good thing. But this time around, there's so many things that I was paying attention to. I mean, you can call me 2-3 days and I don't respond. And I'm just like, I'm busy. I have kids. I'm doing other things. And you were persistent, right? And so I felt like there were certain things that were important to me that I wanted to make sure that in this relationship, I brought that to and gave it my all because I probably didn't give my all in the previous marriage, and I want to make sure that I'm doing that this time around and genuinely being with somebody and loving the real way, for lack of a better term, so that I can fully experience it and then give my real evaluation. And so for me, I think it was important to do it again the second time around. I wasn't hesitant. I was okay with doing it because I genuinely love love. And I think that is a very beautiful thing that those who want it should definitely experience that.
And fellas, let me say this to you. We all know when we deal with a woman, we know how soon and how fast we want her. And not just on a physical context, right? But on the context of a relationship, like this is who I want to hold it down with. The fellas, we do know that. So for me, having the previous experience of being married, understanding that there were certain things that I kind of let go that were valuable to me in my previous marriage, which kind of expedited me in knowing that if and when I did get married again, because rest assured, when I got divorced, I understood marriage was a thing for me, regardless of the kids. It was a thing for me, but I wasn't going to compromise on certain things. So I would say, while marriage is the second time around, they've got the dismal rates, as you remember last time I said it. But what I want you to understand is, I sure did. But what I want
dismal.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was energetic. But with the dismal rates is that you can find love again. And I'm speaking to the guys specifically because we're the ones who do the searching, right? You know, a woman may look at you and, you know, let you know she's feeling you, but you're the one that has to really do the homework and that investment. So when you have that and you understand that, make sure you don't waste your time on that, right? The older we get, like it's a more waste of a time to have multiple options. That decision fatigue.
Right. Right. And when you do get in that space where you know that this is the one you want to be with and you want to do it again for real this time around, I know this is something that I've struggled with, the comparison, right? Because the grass is not always greener on the other side. And I know we say this a lot, but
I use fertilizer though, so my grass is probably definitely more greener.
Okay. It's greener where you water it and you treat it, right?
But
so
there's
you're
extra fertilizer there.
Perfect. So what I'm saying is, when you get in that space, because we're human, and you thought that this person was so great, and I think there's a saying that one of your aunties love to say. Remind me.
Oh God, which one of my aunts?
Auntie Sadai.
Oh, what did she say?
I can't remember. That's
I don't know. But Auntie Sadai has too many sayings.
So it's essentially you don't know a person until you live with them. Oh, come live.
Oh, it's different. Yes.
Can I finish? Because you couldn't remember. Remember? So come live is different from come visit. You know, so when a person is visiting and you're having fun, you're traveling the world, you're having these dinners and experiences, you get the best of that individual. Until they live with you, you don't really know, because Lord knows.
Listen, I can fix some things.
Lord knows. But all I'm saying is you have to be ready, and you have to have and give grace and understand that no one is perfect, because if not, you're going to go through so many marriages, so many relationships, so many divorces back and forth.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. So I'm having to stop the comparisons and understand that, okay, these are the areas that he's good at. For example, you know, I can say, Milen, can you put this chair together? And I mean, God forbid, you know, YouTube is locked down. This is not getting done. The chair is not, and then it becomes back and forth.
At 21, I learned there was something called AAA. There was no way I was standing on the side of the highway to fix a tire, okay? And once I had that service, I am the one that figures things out, and how do we get it done? So, no, I'm not as handy as Kate is alluding to, but I'm handy adjacent. But these chairs, I definitely put them together.
So I'm saying, have that grace and lower your expectations and be open-minded enough to understand that everyone is different. So he might not be good here fixing chairs, but he's good at other things. He's a service guy. He will make sure that he gets somebody to come in and get the job done. And there are other things that he will take charge and make sure that it's done right here, right now, that maybe in your previous relationship, you didn't get that. So weigh the options and be an adult and understand that, you know, no one is perfect. And so you're not going to get everything in one.
So is the grass greener on the other side? To respond to you, right? I'll start with this. A lot of subconscious, and I really stress subconscious comparisons. You realize you spent a lot of time in a previous space, and now you're in a new space. So it's systematic, right? You knew how this other person worked, and now you're with this other person, so certain expectations. Like I have a very weird thing. When I leave the house and come back, I like to be met at the door. I like to be greeted. And and I'll admit, so when we first got together, that thing was like, it was like, yo, I'm home. Like, open the door, yo, I'm home. And
but it's not just, I will let you land, but it's not just meeting at the door.
Okay.
You used to stand at the door to wait and see if I'm going to come downstairs.
Hello, is
and
anybody
I think it was more
here?
like, oh, God, welcome. Okay, how was the day on the road? And I was confused.
Hello, is anybody home? Okay. And that was something that it mattered to me. So then at the beginning, you're like, oh, does this person care about me? Does this person? And you have to absolutely resist that urge of the sub-comparisons. Because you notice the moment that something doesn't happen, like all jokes aside, like how you mentioned about me not initiating to be handy, I don't know what your sub-comparisons look like, but I know for me, certain domestic things, when I looked at it, it was very important that dialogue was had. Because Kate and I, when we first got together, we would just kind of fly, just coast, right? And we didn't have the ugly combos because the one thing was we were so brand new, so in love. It was like, oh, you're not going to do that for me? It's great. I love you, so I don't really give a damn. But then the truth of the matter is, when we got accustomed to each other, it was like, yo.
I mean, and the expectation really wasn't there because when I was living in my apartment, you would come by, like everything was done the way that I wanted it to be done. I wasn't expecting you to come and do dishes or, fold certain things. Anything you left behind, by the time you got back, I folded everything to your side where I designated a side for you because, you were a little messy, but it was the come live versus visit again. It was like, oh, cute, whatever. Oh, he left a couple of things.
Guys, I'm always busy.
But now when you have to deal with it 365 days, it's not the when you're folding anymore. It's like, Milen, you know what I mean? Like the tone is a little bit elevated because what the heck? I just finished cooking and now I have to fold underwears, okay, while I did the laundry. And so if you're not careful, that can really fester into something bigger. And then there's the resentment. And then if you're not careful where you get out of that space mentally of the past, you're going to start thinking certain things and wondering. And that's why sometimes people may go back or even send a random text to the ex because they're like, oh my God, this person is doing this. The ex didn't do that. And you really want to be mindful of that. But through this all, I think when you put God first, and I didn't say this, but it just came to me because you're able to pause. You're able to pause and really talk to God for a second, pray about it, and let God lead you. Because I think one of the main things that I didn't do a good job at in the previous space was allowing God to really lead. And so when you're before you even get into why did I get married again, you should have prayed. Okay, we skipped all of those pieces, but you should have prayed and you should have fasted and you should have asked God to really lead you. Because I say this all the time, many are the plans of man, but only God's will prevail. So you have to make sure that you don't make the plans and then asking God to jump in. He's busy. He's dealing with other people.
Let me tell you something. Not only is she beautiful, but she's definitely giving First Lady vibes. And I'm definitely not a pastor. Okay? And I'm not a pastor. But what I will say is this. I think that's a great point you brought up though, man, is that we do try to be very worldly. And we, the individuals, the people, we try to fix it. But as you just alluded to, we may have the plans, but it's really God's plan. And something I'll 100% wholeheartedly admit is, I grew up in a church household. My mom could recite the Bible back, forth, left, right, east, west, right? However, in my previous marriage, and even at the start of here, that's not something that we were referring to regularly. And in a second marriage, what's highly important is focusing on being intentional. Because if you're not looking at the miscues that you did in the first marriage, then what's the point of being in the second one? Because you're going to be who you were. And being who you were is why you are here. So you definitely get an opportunity to reinvent yourself. But in that reinvention, and I stress this, I'm strictly speaking to the guys, because we are the ones who go out and do the pursuing. If you do not reinvent those negative habits, if you do not erase them, I'm going to tell you, you will have somebody by your side, but you're still going to be looking for somebody by your side. So gentlemen, and I'm going to always talk to you, ladies, feel free. If you are dealing with a guy, tell him, you know what, that dude, Milen, he said, and I'll stand 10 toes. I'll stand on that business because all of us, when it comes to, we know what we want to find out there. I don't care what guy you talk to. I don't care how successful he is, how broke he is. He understands what he wants. Remember, we are the hunters. And if you do not hit reset on those negative habits, yo, don't waste that woman's time. I'm not saying I'm perfect. We do argue. Kate likes to argue with me a lot. I'm peaceful.
But we know that is not the case.
But no, just really invest in yourself, guys, because in a biblical sense, you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the one that sets the tone. Because you come from a broken space, meaning a divorce, you may have children elsewhere. That doesn't mean that you are broken and you can't lead again. But you won't be able to lead if you do not fact check yourself.
Yeah, I think you summarized it all and you nailed it. And I think, yes, you guys are the hunters. And when you, again, get into that space, doing that assessment and thinking about everything that happened, because you have to revisit the past. You can't just keep walking as if nothing
like it never existed.
Happened, because then how do you shape anything if you don't know what you're really fixing, right? So you have to do the assessment and see, these are some of the things that I did. You have to be accountable, because it takes two. The marriage didn't just dissolve because one person alone did all of these things.
That's very
and
important.
You decided to finally love because you were so broken and he did this and she did that. No, it took two people.
Well, I'm perfect, so I don't know.
Right, and that's why you're here. So make sure that you do the assessment and fix yourself. And you can't say, well, if he doesn't fix this, then I'm not fixing that. If she doesn't do this, then I'm not. You're doing it for you. Even when I have conversations with certain friends, I know I've been divorced, but still friends come to me because for some reason I am the subject matter expert with certain things. Even before the divorce, I don't know. Anyway, so that was my story. So you guys do the assessment, fix yourself. Even if you have marriage counseling, like I said, doing the assessment ahead and talking to God, and hopefully, if you believe, you're going to hear God. I think God is always there and he's always listening. And if you're patient enough, you will hear and see certain things that will guide you towards the right direction. So once you get to that space, that doesn't mean that you're not going to experience the struggles. You will continue to experience the struggles. You're going to have your own, individual therapy sessions because you're going to need it, especially living with a man. Okay. And then you have the marriage, which is the co-counseling that you're going to be having. And you need to be open and honest about the things that you're doing, not just focusing on that person to make it better. So for me, I think doing it the second time around, I wanted to do it. There was no hesitation or thinking about, oh my God, this is going to be a lot. Do I really want to go through this again? And he proved himself, right? And so he talked to the man. For the women, you don't need to be going up and down. I say this also all the time. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free, right? So it's not like, when I start cooking, when I start doing this, with the threesomes, with the what, that's cool if that's your thing, but that's not going to keep the man.
It's not.
You might get a few, trips here and there because of that, because you know how to do certain things, but he's going to go marry that other person who is more, put together, for lack of a better term, who carries themselves a certain way. So I wanted to do this because he, came after what he wanted and he proved himself. You proved yourself to the point, and as a mother of two, I don't just want to be with anybody, right? So I wanted to make sure that it was somebody who was intentional, who cared about me, cared about my children, cared about my family. These are all the things that were important to me, especially if I'm making the move from the West Coast again back to the East Coast. I did that once in reverse, from the East to West. And what did that get me? 2 beautiful kids and life experiences, amazing. I loved it. But if I'm going to do it again, I want to be very, very intentional and make sure that, this one, hopefully, and you don't like when I say hopefully, but hopefully this is the forever. Through the ups and downs, it's still through the messes, because it's not perfect. It's still our mess that we're going to figure out as we go along.
Listen, you said a lot of beautiful things. And, I don't want that to get drowned out, but I totally do agree with you. The guys we know, as I'm going to say, and this is where I'll end it at. And I'm speaking to the gentlemen again, you do know. And I think for guys, when you're in your 30s and your 40s, the decisions that you make, this is what shapes your legacy going forward. So really think it through. Yes, marriage, even first-time marriages have a tough statistical rate right now. But second-time marriages, as I said, very dismal. But that does not mean they do not work. So for me, I found this woman. I loved her, loved on her, and wanted to be with her, and I made that decision. And for you, closing?
Yeah, and for me, it's the same. And if you're in the second space and this is your second time around, embrace the journey, and embrace the experiences, embrace your mess, figure out a way to fix the mess, give yourself time.
Are you talking about me folding clothes?
Give yourself time, give the person grace, work it out. It will work if you work.
Guys,
so,
I fold clothes.
Thank you for joining us again.
I fold clothes.
And we will see you next time.
Take two. We out.